So we open the reunion with Andy congratulating Candace on her shout out from Anita Baker. But you know what? I'm not surprised because Anita likes to tussle too. So the first question is for Gabrissi. Somebody actually thought her styles have improved over the years. And so we already know they thoughts ain't worth a tinker's damn. But I don't think so. I think it's gotten worse because she's had more money and more pull. You're on a national show and you can't get a stylist to pull some looks together for you? Oh, her problem is she's been working with the same person all this time. They don't like you, and they've been making you look a fool. But they could probably present you with all the great choices in the world and you'd still fart it up. Karen said we can't expect any improvement. That's like expecting Jamal, a fruitless effort. Now we playing a little video clip saying Nikki ain't coming. Was this to fool the heifers? I don't think they bought it either. Did you buy it? Now it's time for Mia's package. Let's go over her lies. So first ball up is Clipgate, and Candace was the one who called her on it, and she said, well, no, my plastic surgeon said I got it all worked on down there. So Ashley said, well, why did you need a vaginal rejuvenate if you had C-sections? Mia said, I just wanted to get it tuned up. And let it be. Her puss, her prerogative. Now we get to whether Mia was a stripper or a escort. She said wearing ball gowns in upscale gentlemen's clubs is very normal. I don't know, I've never been. But then Gabrissi is like, oh, I know exactly where it was. And G is ahead of the adult club commission. So Gabrissi has done her research if she ever needed to get her together. Like Karen said, that heifer fight dirty. Now, why was G barefoot in the strip club, Mia? If he was barefoot in the strip club, that's because them pants was coming off too. You never answered the question. If you sold some snatch, that's okay. It's your puss, your prerogative. So we get back from commercial break and Andy's like, okay, did you ever take off your clothes in the club? And she said, yeah, I would take off my gown and sit there in boy shorts. That don't make no sense, but okay, heifer, okay. So she says she had the massage envies before she met G and he just invested a little bit, but she is self-made. But I'm glad they asked this. Why can't you stick to your story? Because it changes every 15 minutes. So that was it. We didn't get much out of Mia. She said Karen wasn't coaching her to send that text message telling Rob and Gabrissi to call her assistant. Mia would have come up with that stunt on her own. However, on to Gabrice and Gabrissi. Crappy construction projects, fashion faux pas, and a lacking love life. So Andy said, where's your mystery commentator? Wendy must know him. Wendy said, I know somebody who said they dated Giselle. Wasn't Van Jones because he likes women of integrity. Wendy, I'm here for the reads. Back to the barn, Andy asked, so is the house cohesive? No, it isn't. Fashion isn't cohesive, so how could the house be? Piping up with, it's coming along. Andy asked, well, is it all one motif? And even she had to say, no, it's not all one motif when you're getting everything down at the scratch and dent sale. Karen asked Gabrissi, is your daughter mad at you for embarrassing her on national television for a plot line? And Gabrissi said no, but you know that heifer is mad. Them kids don't like to be on camera. So we try to get the timeline down of when Jamal walked out for the second time, and Gabrissi's trying to do a summer, spring, fall, and Wendy said, because Jamal made that video in December saying he wasn't with nobody, when he was giving us binder time stories. Giselle just gonna lie. Oh, that's not what it's meant. He just meant he wasn't married. Really? Is that what single means? Because you could be in a relationship. Giselle gonna say, well, the binder wasn't new information. We had already talked about it. You see, you're trying to save face too much because Karen came through with the truth. Hold on. So if you knew at the reunion, but you were still with him, then you gave him permission to have other women. Oh, come on now. Even though they got married, Giselle has been third on Jamal's whole rotator. So, Gabris, why you always talking about everybody else's marriage but you ain't mentioning your own? Giselle said, I talk about the relationship. She doesn't, but the thing is there's nothing to talk about. That would be like talking about my relationship with Meryl Streep. We don't have one. Wendy said if she talked about how she really feels, she'd break down. So that's why she's got to deflect, dismiss, and duck. Andy did not ask her, when you found out Jamal was cheating again, did you cry? He was never with her. So I don't know what the point in the tears would be. Maybe of tears of embarrassment that your plot line went out the window. But that's why the kids wasn't here for it. They knew y'all was not getting back together. Jamal and his Johnson enjoy being free. Giselle said not a tear was shed. I hadn't been through it before, so it's the same feeling again. Andy's trying to get a tear out this heifer. But Andy, why don't you ask the real questions about the timeline of this plot line to get to the fact that they were never together, that they did this for the show? You ain't gonna cry when you an actor and you pretended to get married and then y'all go home after the movie set. You don't cry about that. You move on, because it was never real to begin with. So they asked Karen, girl, why does a woman's happiness have to come from a man? And it doesn't. It doesn't. But when you're pretending to be in a relationship that is false, that you're doing for the show, when it's a lie, that is the issue. The fact that he's never around, but you're saying you're in a relationship is the issue. And the fact that you're faking it rather than saying, I'm single and proud, hot girl summer, that is the issue. Gabrisi gonna say, I never jabbed at you, Karen. I never jabbed at your marriage. What do you call free Ray? Pay your taxes. I just want Ray to pay his bills. You said Ray has a small penis. What about all that? Isn't that jabbing at the marriage? And since we're talking taxes, Jamal's on the hook for $800,000 in back taxes. And Gabrisi gonna say, well, we've been divorced. But if you go back in time, you were married when he ran up that bill. So good luck. Karen's right. They might be coming at you. Cleopatra. We're joined by the stunning Alaska. You nailed this look, girl. Andy says, now you seem to be the fashion queen of the show. Who you gonna style? And she said, well, Gabrisi and Gabrisi. We gotta bring them current. 2 currents, 1 for each face. And now it's time for Candace and the Toni Braxton singing. So we really gonna compare Crappy in Love to Candace's full album? I'm sorry, Ashley, you are off key on auto-tune, and I don't know how that's possible. Andy said, what qualifies Chris to run your music career? I thought he was a chef, not a CEO. Candace said, well, he's more managing me. You mean he's your babysitter because you need one? At 40? That's sad. She said, I'm paying Chris in love. And Mia said, well, you know, that is a form of prostitute. I only speak on what I know since I am a hoe. Now, Ashley, this was a read. Andy said, do y'all think that Chris is living off Candace? And she said, well, you know, he lost his business in the pandemic. He lost his footing a little bit. He's been depressed. He's put on a little weight. Drinking more. I told y'all that drinking was going to come back to bite them in the ass. He's not the same happy guy we met when we first met you. Yeah, because he's been dealing with her for 3 years and he's sick of it. He thought she'd grow up. It ain't going to happen. Now, I can't believe it, but I got to agree with Gabrisi. She said, no, look, your mama came around and talked to each and every one of us about you and your husband. You mad at us when you really need to be mad at your mama. I told you Chris gonna leave her. She had to get a corner teacher to talk about how upset he is. My family will never be the same. Because your mama's an asshole. And I guess that's where you got it from. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to fix it. Keep your mama from your business and check her the second she starts to open her mouth. Also, tell your in-laws to stop watching the show. That's how you deal with it. Boom. Oh, goodness. Now Mia whining about this low-budget video shoot again. Just have someone there to greet. You don't have to have everybody there. People can be late. You could sit in your car. You are not above sitting in your car for 15 minutes, text the heifer, hey, where are you? I don't remember Alaska asking Karen that if she drank heavily. I mean, we've seen her get drunk on the show, but they all get drunk on the show. However, Candace gonna say she didn't know about Mia's mama. You knew, heifer. Candace gonna try to call it jonesing, and Gabrissy says, oh no, I don't think your actions were justified towards her. Gabrissy, why do you care? I told y'all she couldn't wait to turn against Candace now that Momo's gone. Andy said, well, Candace, how is the way that you respond to people working for you? Because everybody hates you. You were almost attacked last year. It's my fault. You are the common denominator. Hey, hey, hey. Candace is really gonna act like after the clip was rolled, she did not throw the butter knife and was not trying to get bucked. Now, if Chris hadn't been there, or if somebody had tripped and fallen, it would have been a different story. You're unhinged, unpredictable, and unlikable. Giselle gonna tell Candace she needs to be able to edit herself and pull it back. That's not what children do, so it's not gonna happen. Oh! Now Candace said, well, you know what, Mia, I got a bone to pick with you too. Now, you brought your mama in here to parade her for a storyline, but now all of a sudden, when she becomes part of that storyline, it's my fault for her relapse? She could have relapsed just from the exposure alone. Well, that was the shit. I'ma see you soon for something.